Grandstand Bettors here with 32 NFL season previews in 32 days. We're on day number 6, and we are still in the AFC East, but today we're looking at the Miami Dolphins. As always, everyone, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Get all of our team previews during the NFL preseason here, as well as our free picks and free predictions as we head into the 2021 NFL season. While you're at it, smash that like button if you're excited for football to be back on TV. We sure are, and we cannot wait. Before we get into our Miami Dolphins preview, just a reminder, head on over to grandstandbettors.com. We are hosting a $1,000 free NFL betting contest. Operative word there is free. It's free to sign up. All you have to do is put in your email and you are good to go with your chance to win a $1,000 grand prize from us here at Grandstand Bettors. There's also a $100 referral bonus. If anyone you refer to, whoever has the most referrals by I think the first week of September, we'll give $100 to. But that is what Grandstand Bettors is all about. While you're over there, become part of our family and join that Grandstand life. Without further ado, though, let's look into the Miami Dolphins 2021 NFL season. To do so, let's take a quick peek back at their 2020 campaign. And they're coming off a great season. The Miami Dolphins, much improved. They went 10-6 last year, just missing the playoffs, thanks to a 30-point loss in Week 17 to the Bills. It definitely seems like a rebuilding stage, or the rebuilding stage in Brian Flores' plan is over. And as he goes into his third year as a head coach, he's looking to win rather than to rebuild. Their preseason over-under last year was at 5.5, which they blew out of the water. Now they're certainly looking to make the playoffs and end their 20-year drought of having a winning playoff game. Their success last season is kind of split between their two quarterbacks, Tua and Ryan Fitzpatrick. Listen, Fitzy, or Fitzmagic as you might call him, he started the season, and the team went 3-3 before their bye week. After this, Flores decided to start Tua against the LA Rams, which in all honesty, people criticized him about, including us, considering he was going to be rushing him on the other side of the football that week. So in his NFL debut, though, he had a huge upset against those Rams, stunned them 28-17. Now, with a year under to his belt, and now in more of a solidified role, it will be interesting to see how he does. Although he hasn't looked good in training camp thus far, there's always, again, the possibility of re-aggravating the injury he had suffered in Alabama. We're not really sold on Tua that much. Last year, the Dolphins did rank 22nd overall in yards per game and 15 in points scored. It's not exactly the best. Their run game last year did look promising behind dual threat Myles Gaskin and Ahmed, and they did do some more work in the offseason to get some wide receiver depth. However, considering the way their offense performed overall last season, and they still managed to win 10 games, it kind of begs the question, how did they even get there? The Steelers last year were the only other team to not rank in the top 20 of yards per game and still have at least 10 wins. The one thing that both those teams, the Steelers and the Dolphins last year, have in common is a really good defense. The Miami Dolphins defense gave up the 6th fewest points of any team last year, which certainly will help an offense that underperformed for a good part of the season. And they also ranked first in the NFL in takeaways with 29, which gave them a +9 turnover differential. This is mostly due, though, to Xavier Howard, who had a breakout season with 10 interceptions, which was more than a third of the team's takeaways. As this young unit gets more experience, they're definitely going to be able to keep their team in games, even if their offense is struggling as it did last year. Even though their defense is already loaded with talent, the Dolphins still looked for defensive players in the offseason to become that much better. Because although they were able to force turnovers and keep teams out of the red zone, they did rank 20th in yards given up per game, and their pass and run defenses were not ranked that high either. To be honest, they were kind of like the Browns from like 3-4 years ago, where it was that bend, not break defense, and they just, I'm going to be honest, got a little lucky with a lot of turnovers in the red zone. One more move that they made to remedy situation was getting Jason McCourtney from the Patriots. He'll provide a lot of experience for this team, and it'll really help out the secondary, which had all the pressure on Howard. They also need some help up front, as Emmanuel Ogbah, who tallied 9 sacks last season, was really the one who held the front 7 together, especially with the departure of Kyle Van Noy back to the Patriots. Offensively, the Dolphins were able to pick up Will Fuller in the offseason from the Texans, which should be a great weapon for Tua, alongside Devontae Parker and their breakout tight end Mike Gesicki from last year. Now, in the draft, the Dolphins were able to reunite Tua with his teammate, Jalen Waddle. This guy is a serious threat downfield and should pair well with Tua, given they had a year or two to form some good chemistry at Alabama. Let's hope Tua can get him the ball, because, listen, NFL defenses are much, much different and much, much better than an SEC cornerback. Although, another notable draft pick in their first round was Jalen Phillips, a defensive end out of University of Miami. This guy, he knows how to put pressure on the quarterback and make plays behind the line of scrimmage. He had 15.5 tackles for a loss last season and 8 sacks. He should pair very nicely with Ogbah there, and that should improve their run defense. The last draft pick we want to highlight is offensive tackle Liam Eichenberg from Notre Dame, who was picked up in the second round by the Dolphins. Notre Dame's offensive line was very good last season if you didn't watch them at all, and Liam was kind of overlooked just a little bit in the draft. He should fit in very well in this offensive line and be able to add some extra protection for Tua. Now, based on how they surprised everyone last year, the Dolphins probably could do it again this year and have a 10-win team that makes the playoffs. However, if you get into their schedule, the Dolphins start the season in Foxborough to take on the New England Patriots. I'm not saying it's just a guaranteed loss. We did have this as a loss because really Belichick has all season long, or all off-season long, to look at this matchup, and we're going to take Belichick over Tua any day of the week. So if you chalk that one up as a loss, their next 4 games are against the Bills, the Bucks, and they just have really hard matchups. They have a revenge game against the Raiders from a 1-point loss in Week 16 off a Fitzmagic play. Oh my God, it's just awful. They have the Colts. They could start this season 0-5. If they do go 0-5, it's going to be tough for them. After the first 5 games, their schedule gets a little easier with games against the Jags, Falcons, Texans. They play the Jets twice, obviously, and the Panthers. Even if they win all of those games, I don't know if they have enough to get through the Patriots and the Bills again. Then they have to go play the Saints in the Superdome, the Titans in Tennessee, and the Giants and Ravens at home. Unless they prove us horribly wrong here, and they might, they're not one of the best teams in the NFL, and we don't see them winning 8 games. Their over-under right now is set at 9. I think it's going to be close, kind of like the Patriots, who are sitting there at 9. You could see a push, but I don't think this is a 10-win season. If you really, really dive into their season last year and look at Tua, he got really lucky that their defense kept picking the ball off from the other QBs. The Miami Dolphins will not win 9 games this year. So, Miami Dolphins fans, please tell us, what's your thought? You guys going above, below 9? We're going to take the below, lock it in. As always, sit back, enjoy our NFL team previews, hit the subscribe button, smash that like button for the NFL, and we'll see you tomorrow.